Thank you. Come again.
I got him again. Dude, I still could see you. And guess what? You still peed. Okay, just take this fool out. Take this fool out. Give me this. Give me this.
He did. He deleted.
There you go. Two flanking to the right. Two flanking to the right.
Yep.
TP time. Mm-hmm.
Push in. I blinded the shit out of him. A little late though. He saw the light when he was dying. I saw the light. I've been baptized by the fire in your touch and the
Oh, we're
light.
rogue. We gotta get out of here. We're about to get killed by the turrets.
34 seconds, yeah.
I'm born to rogue again. I'm a brand new man.
Can you deal with that?
Oh, there's players. There's a player on there?
Mm-hmm.
One more. Two more.
Yep, I just stole that dude's shit. Yep, and now we go extract their stuff. Because this dude had 2 ongoing directive shit.
Getting shot from behind.
Yep. On me, we can... Come on, back up, Zero. Or...
I'm voguing.
Yeah, just to give them a little more space that they have to come out. They have farther to run.
Your order is in the oven. Kenneth, put your order in the oven at 11:50. Damn, I gotta go pick this shit up.
Got one on the left over here.
Bro, it's like literally right down, like not even like a minute away from the house.
Gotcha.
NPCs coming out. NPCs, guys, behind us.
Left. Mm-hmm.
Alright, it's here. I'm gonna put this shit on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I got an eagle bearer off of that guy.
Sure you did, buddy.
You got an eagle bear off of that guy?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
It has a negative 0.1 drop rate in the dark zone. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Nobody's gonna take care of my team like this. He needs some milk.
Damn.
And you still peed. And he still peed.
They didn't expect that.
Nope.
Content, then be sure to ground and pound that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to reach up there, trigger the bell, and turn on post notifications. So that way you never miss a live stream or a video that is uploaded. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the clips at the beginning. This build is a lot of fun. And there are some different components in which I will explain and go over. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. As you can see, I have 344,607 health with 193 skill power. If you're not familiar with the talent Berserk, it is more or less dependent on your armor being gone, so that way you can get the most potential out of Berserk, the most bang for your buck, so to speak, the most damage possible, because you want your actual armor gone, so that way you survive off your health pool alone. So once all your armor is gone, you have 344,000. Now if you have better stats on your pieces, then you'll have actually a much healthier and much larger health pool. But on this chest piece I have 278 skill power, 8.5% weapon damage, and 47,891 health. Now in the perfect world, instead of that skill power, I would rather have a percentage value of health, so I can potentially, I've seen it like 14-15% health, so with just that alone, then that would give me around 380k health, and that is just insane. But that is a perfect world, and we don't necessarily live in it, because after all, this is Division. So you want Berserk and Vital. Vital is key on your chest and your backpack. And then my mods, I have an offensive mod slot. You might have one that has a defensive mod slot. That'll just increase your health pool. Some will have like 9k health, so potentially that would put you around 355k. But if you have one with an offensive mod like I do, then I'm getting another 6.5% weapon damage to my AR. And another key fact, the thing that they changed for Title Update 5, that also Berserk now works with LMG, and thus the reason why my secondary is an LMG. Now let's move on to the other component. It is the backpack. 7905 armor, 4.5% weapon damage. I wish I could get that a lot higher value, but as you can see, I opted in for the 35,135 health roll because this was actually the best backpack that I actually came across with the best weapon damage. Most of the other ones I came across had like 2 and 3%, so it is what it is, and as you can see, it works out really, really nice. If you have one with higher weapon damage, then that's just going to make this build even more potent for you. But like I said, you want Vital on it, plus 20% health. As far as the second talent, whichever you so choose, but I went with Efficient because we are low in the utility category, so therefore in this situation you want to extend your life, and having potentially double the armor kits is really, really crucial. And then in the utility slot, I just have one in there more or less as a filler. I'm trying to find utility ones to have blind duration on them, so that way I can better utilize the actual skills of this build. But moving on to the knee pads. It is a Heligard knee pads. I have all 3 pieces because they just are so good as far as having the defensive Legos, high attributes rolls on them, such as the 22,000. And in those mod slots, I have 8167 health, 808 armor regen, and 1183 armor on kill. And the second one, 9063 health, 5% skill health, and then 503 armor regen. And then of course, cloaked. When your armor is depleted, nearby enemy skills are disrupted for 10 seconds. Can occur once every 30 seconds. So this comes in crucial, especially in PvP. If you're getting pushed and they want to just stand in their piss pools, aka their chem launchers, and more or less hip fire and circle jerk, then by all means, once your armor is gone, since you want your armor gone, it's going to disrupt their nearby skills for 10 seconds. So bye bye pist pools, shields, defender drones, anything of that nature. So this is cloaked is very crucial when it comes to this day and age when it comes to PvP in the dark zone. Now moving on to the mask. Now this is where it's going to differ in your playstyles and depending on what you want. If you want a complete DPS support role, then I would go with the likes of a different healer guard mask, so that way you can have a little more skill power, a little extra, same as amount of health, but also it has a utility slot. And as you can see in this one, I have Firefly. What you can do is with this particular mask and then just tweaking one other thing, which is my holster, which I'll go over in a moment, you can potentially be the 7, 10, 5, and then you can actually run the Firefly and Spotter along with the pulse, so that way you're not only stacking your pulse, but also you'll see in a moment as far as when they're blind as well. So basically, potentially, you're getting 20% multiplicative damage from Spotter, and then on top of that you're getting another value as far as 10% from Wicked, and then if you're using a weapon with Eyeless, I believe it's on it, I'll show you in a moment when we go over the weapons, then that's another 20%. So if you stack all those values on top of each other, if you want to try that out, that is my next goal. The only downside would be to try to spec in a little more skill haste, so therefore I'm going to have to give up either some skill power or some of my health. But I'll let you be the judge and decide that. So let's move on to the gloves, which is one of the key components of this build. It's Alp Summit gloves. For that one piece, I do get 20% skill haste. The attributes, I have 11% assault rifle damage, and this is where it differs, because most do want to go with devastating here or precise for if they're trying to stack headshot damage, right? The other side is I've already made the Berserk Pulse build. That video is already up, and so I wanted to try something new, something fresh, and I searched all over the YouTubosphere and have found no one that would make and has made a Berserk build such as this. So instead of getting the 5% from devastating, then I'm getting 10% weapon damage from status affected enemies. So, and as of late with this new skill build meta, tons and tons of effects are being applied, whether it be from the sniper drone, the bleed, the fire, things of that nature, or in this case the Firefly being blind, that in a squad, since multiple squad mates are going to be applying status effects, therefore instead of the 5% damage, I'm getting 10% damage to all status affected enemies. So regardless whether I'm applying it or one of my teammates are applying it, devastating. So that comes in very, very crucial. And then of course in the mod slot, I'm needing a better mod, but this is the one that had a combination of LMG damage and assault rifle damage. So I'm getting 4% for my assault rifle, and then I'm getting 5% to my LMG. Now let's move on to the final piece of the holster. It's a Healer Guard holster. I'm getting 14.5% health, 29,265 health, and then we have 2 offensive mod slots. And as you can see, I have another 1% weapon damage, 4% assault rifle, and then 4% LMG damage. And then the other one, I have a 5% assault rifle damage, 1% weapon damage, and then 2% LMG damage. So I got lucky with having adequate amount of damage numbers in mods for both archetype weapons that I'm using, and in this case it is the assault rifle and the LMG. So now let's go over the weapons. Of course, I have the Eagle 29.3. It's really, really nice, but for those that do not have it, for the 1%ers out there that that have it, use it, but those that don't have it, then I do have a solution. You can use any assault rifle or LMG that you want to, and then just put Eyeless on it. Eyelesses deal 20% weapon damage to blinded enemies. So if multiple teammates, including yourself or just one other, such as a skill build, especially if they're using the BTSU gloves, so they want to apply that status effect, and it works really, really well with the Firefly. So if you can bump up the blind duration of 10 seconds and then have an assault rifle or an LMG with Eyeless on it, then you're getting 20% weapon damage plus the 10 from Wicked, which is total of 30 versus your typical standard devastating on your gloves. So you're getting 25% more weapon damage just in that alone. And yes, it does require group play. So if you want to do it more like in a duo or a solo, then I would probably recommend just switching up and going with the build that I previously put out on the Berserk build, and it is utilizing the spotter. But you can do both with this build, just a little tweak. Like I said, you can switch out to, like, for instance, this holster here, and then I can easily switch back to this mask here. And as you can see, I'm still over 300k health, but now I have unlocked the 5 utilities required for spotter. So if you wanted to go with spotter and then firefly, you can pulse them to get 20% multiplicative damage, and then you can also, right after you pulse, you can hit them with the firefly, so that's going to trigger the wicked, that 10%. And then if you don't have the eagle, then you can go with eyeless, which is another total of 30 counting the wicked. So that's 30 plus the 20% multiplicative, that's 50. And then you can kind of, character sheet is something new, something fresh, but you know, it is what it is. It just requires a little tweak. And as you can see, it did, some people say, well, now you no longer have the 7 needed for Berserk, as you can see on my 585. But I don't have any mods in this one, and it has 2 offensive mod slots. That would put me at 785. So it is very, very viable. So let me switch back to what I previously had, and then we'll actually go over the character sheet. So we have 29,302 with the weapon damage. And also, before I forget, if you happen to have the Eagle Bearer, right, when you switch from your Eagle to your secondary, while you're shooting your secondary, in this case an LMG, and that particular LMG is only hitting for 27.8, but that is because that is the MK. Now, if you have other varieties such as, you know, the LMG Stoner, or basically I would just go with the M60. Yeah, there are others out there at 32.2, higher than that, but you also got to take in consideration the 10% from the Wicked, and then, you know, you kind of have to keep stacking. But while you're shooting with your LMG, the holster talent of the Eagle, while holster gains plus 10% bonus armor while firing your current weapon. So this can actually help out your survivability, especially if your health is like halfway and you're trying to at least extend your survivability. And then while you're on your secondary, while you're shooting, you're going to gain that 10% extra armor. And yes, it's only going to be like 19k armor, but that 19k armor can be the choice whether you're going to be staying alive, or you're actually going to be taking a dirt nap, or allow you to get into cover, get an armor kit, or, you know, pop a chem heal. But anyways, let's get back to the character sheet. So starting back with the Eagle, as you can see, 29.3, and then as far as the all weapon damage bonus is 17.5, assault rifle damage is another 53. So that's a total of 70.5%. My go-to basically on any DPS build, whether it be on PvP or PvE, is the bottom line baseline for me. I have to have at least 70% weapon damage. Now, if I have other just straight assault rifle mods, I do have quite a few that have straight up 6.5. So I can boost my assault rifle damage with that alone, just for a total of 37.5. See, I think I'm not a math whiz, but no, that's 42.5% to LMG. So I'm kind of, mixing up between AR and LMG damage. And take in mind, this is all before Berserked as well. And as you can see, 193 armor, 344 max health, 172 health regen, 20% hazard protection, bleed, blind, burn, confuse, disrupt, shock, and poison. 421 skill power, 20% skill haste. But see, that's the thing, I'm not relying on my skill power. I'm just more or less going off of just wanting to apply that status effect, because I'm playing in a squad that others are actually using the Firefly as well, that are causing that status effect, or a survivalist throwing a flame grenade and setting them on fire, using the sniper drone and actually causing bleed, or throwing a bleed grenade from the demolitionist that applies that bleed. You know, the sky's the limit when it comes to actually making status effects. So it is really, really potent, especially if you have that 10%, and then you have all of your armor gone. That's giving that additional buff. And then, as you can see on the screen, you can look at the damage numbers. It is completely and utterly insane. I think I was hitting even NPCs for almost 60k body shots once, you know, Berserk was gone. And then once I, you know, applied a status effect, or a group member applied it, then it just, you know, damage on damage on damage. So it's something new, something fresh, a different little twist on it that even makes it even more viable. So I do recommend trying it out. It's a lot of fun. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate all the love and support. We're about to reach that threshold. Well, I wouldn't say threshold. That little hurdle of 8,500 subs, on our way to 9K. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you fudging later.